Welcome everyone to class today. I hope all is well. And even though I'm not there, we are going to get you ready today to turn in your observation essay on Thursday by doing two different things. First of all, in our academic notes, today we're focusing on documentation again. Today we'll be going over the differences between the three most commonly used documentation styles. Then during class, we're going to review some of the techniques you use in peer review and then actually put you into groups to revise your paper. So in your academic notes, this slide is really important. On your yellow paper, I would ask you that you would record day 9, slide number 3 for you to refer to anytime you want to see the differences between MLA. I know I've met with a few of you already, and some of you are, for example, in the criminal justice class, are having to do a research paper in APA style. These lessons today are going to really help you. And then even if you're not in a class like that, eventually in your college experience, you will get into APA, and in your professional career could get into Chicago Turabian style. So first of all, in your educational experiences, the two most commonly used styles are MLA, APA. MLA stands for Modern Languages Association, and it's for writings that will end up not published, like classroom assignments and major essays for this class. APA style goes through several revisions before it is actually published in scholarly journals. So who runs the show? Again, you can see from this side what APA and MLA stand for. Even in undergraduate classes, some of your teachers will choose to use APA style, even if you're not submitting your work to a scholarly journal. So you can see that language, literature, and humanities classes rely on MLA more often, whereas science classes and other disciplines like sociology classes will use APA. So the differences between the two, in MLA, there is no title page. Rather, the information that would normally go on a title page is considered your header, which is on the first page of your essay and only on the first page. Whereas in APA, you actually will follow guidelines to set up a title page. When you list your sources in the two citation styles, in MLA, you will create your sources on a works cited page. And if you are writing an essay in APA, that page will be called references. When you introduce research from another source on your citation pages, in MLA, you will put both the last name and the first name, but start with last name first. And then in your APA style, you will only use the initials of the first name, so it looks like the one in red. Another difference between the two styles is when you actually cite work internally in your essay. You can see the one in blue is MLA, and when you get through using research from a source in MLA, you're going to end your citation with the last name with the page number. Whereas in APA, there's more. You will put the last name with a comma, the year, and then the page number. And if you look at the two sources, and again, in this class, we're just following the blue one, but you can see some other differences, whereas in APA, they use a lot of punctuation marks that are not used inside of the citations in MLA. This is a really important page for those of you who need to access APA work. That is the website that will show you how to cite any type of source. And then the MLA one is the one we will use this year. It's here on this slide, and it's also in your resource page in Canvas. And then finally, Chicago Turabian website is at the bottom. So that's all I have for academic notes, if you'll put those away. And now we're going to turn to the main part of your lesson. As you do so, I was thinking a year ago about the amount of time I've spent over my life grading essays. And for the most part, students will go to their essays either in Turnitin or hard copies where I give them feedback and look at them. But oftentimes students don't. I can actually see in your Turnitin site if you have accessed the work that I've given you feedback. So I actually stopped and thought, how much time in my life have I spent grading essays? And the sad reality, it's 6 full years of my life has been devoted to that. So if I'm spending that much time, ladies and gents, please make it worth my time by looking at your resources, or the resources that I give you on your page, and then also through Turnitin. I'd like all of you to pause the video for just a minute and then go to Turnitin. I've given you all some quick feedback on each of your 4 articles that you wrote, and each of them will be in a bubble at the top of each slide, of each page in your Turnitin 1 through 4 assignment. So pause the video and go back through that. So those are some quick ways that I can give you feedback. To get through 100 students' essay, it takes me about 2 weeks. That's about how long this assignment took me, because each of you turned in 4, even though they were not long, you turned in 4 assignments. So how do we actually get more timely feedback? We use each other's. Nancy Summers, who is over the writing program at Harvard, said, responding to students' writing takes more time, thought, and energy than any other aspect of teaching. As an English teacher, I guarantee you that is true. So we need to start to rely on each other as well to improve our writing. A couple of years ago, one of my students said this in a closing reflection for the course. He said, by far the most helpful thing we did this semester was peer response. While I feel I got better at writing, more importantly, they helped me to understand the assignment better by seeing how someone else wrote the same assignments. So when you are looking at other people's work today, I want you to think about that. Think in your mind, not only just what did they do and what can you help them with, but how did they approach the assignment? It allows us to cement in our own mind whether or not we understand the gist of each assignment we submit. I would like each of you to pause the video right now and record or watch one of these recordings on helping other people with peer review. I love Stephen King's quote when he says, we write in private, which is what you've done so far, but we edit in public. And by editing, I'm sure he referred to not just conventional errors, but big ideas and internal revision like we talked about last time. So as you share your work with other people today, I'd like you to think your job as a peer reviewer is not to fix answers or tell your classmates what to do. It's to raise questions with them and allow them as the writers to make choices. I love the part of this slide where it says you act as a mirror, showing the writer how the draft looks to you and pointing out areas which need attention. Remember, peer review is not an exercise in proofreading. It is to raise questions with bigger concerns. So what do you do? Here, this slide talks about some of the best practices that we've learned through research, what you can do for to help other people's works. Pause the slide and look over them. Another strategy you can use is one called Spark. I like this one. Since you will only be spending about 10 minutes per other person or other people's essays today, I want you to think in terms of how can I get to important issues quickly. So by using the acronym SPARK, you'll know how to focus your thoughts to them. The S, as you can see, stands for specific. Comments are linked to discrete words, phrases, or sentences. How specific are your classmates' writing? Point out areas where the writing is specific and you understand, and also areas where the writing could be more specific. The next one, prescriptive, like a prescription from a medical doctor. Here's where you aim to solve some flaw with the writing or areas where the writing could become better between now and Thursday. So I want your job to be to offer some constructive criticism to your classmates and some specific feedback of how they can make their writing better. The A stands for actionable. When the feedback is read, it leaves the peer knowing what steps to take for improvement. So as you're having a conversation after each of your readings, then ask as you get feedback from other people, ask yourself, what kind of action can I do to make my paper better? The R stands for reference. The feedback directly references the task criteria, requirements, or target skills. So what are you able to do in the next 2 days? And finally, the last letter of SPARK stands for kind. Remember, when you're giving feedback, you want to do so in a positive way. So your turn now is to get into groups of 3, and you're going to exchange papers. If you do not have a hard copy of your paper, you can either run downstairs to the Career Center as one and come quickly back. But you're going to spend about 10 minutes reading their essay and working through the SPARK acronym that I just provided for you, and then sharing your ideas with your classmates so that they will know what needs to be worked on in the next 2 days. And finally, you're going to work diligently on your draft for the next 48 hours. Remember, when you come to class, on Thursday, we will not be talking about this essay. It will be uploaded into Turnitin. There will be an assignment that is in your Turnitin account that says observation essay. Remember, this essay is one of the 5 things that you're going to do that's worth 75% of your grade. So hopefully these things helped you today. If you have any questions, you can send me an email. Today, my husband has a surgery on his wrist at Utah Valley, so I won't be available throughout most of the day. However, occasionally I will check my account. So we'll see you all on Thursday.